Click the bell icon to get latest videos from Ekeeda.
And our today's session is very fun-loving session because I'm going to give you certain examples of certain emails. So our today's session is examples on some emails. We've discussed enough of what is the entire mail, what is the body like, what are the different parts of an email, how an email etiquette should be, and XYZ blah blah blah. Let's do certain live email examples where I'm going to read you a mail and I'm going to explain what is the tone of that mail, how it is to be put up, what went wrong and why the mail was not taken into consideration the right way, and what could have been in a better way to put up that mail. So let's see how we go about it. If you can see, on this the slide behind me that first example that we take on, we'll focus on the tone of the mail. Okay, so let's focus on how that mail has been presented in what tone for us to understand what went wrong and what can be better. Okay, so let's take the first example. It says, "Dear Professor Bernard, I'm working on a project on minimizing the risk in developing property. I would like you to look at it and give me some feedback. Could you please get it back to me by next Tuesday? Thank you for your time. Best wishes, XYZ." So here, if you see, it's talking about dear Professor so-and-so. He says that I am working on a project. The Mr. Y says I am working on a project on minimizing the risk in developing property. Okay, I would like you to look at it and give me some feedback. Okay, he wants him to look at it and give him some feedback. Could you please get it back to me by next Tuesday? So he's giving him a timeline also to get back to me next Tuesday. Thank you for your time. And he also says thank you for your time. What went wrong? What was the tone that went wrong in an email? What could have been better? Let's see. Now, in the explanation, I would want to focus on certain things. It says, I'd like you to look at it and give me some feedback. So, first of all, we need to understand, are we asking for a request or are we ordering? So, is it like a request mail or is it like something like an order mail that you have to get it sorted? For me, it sounds like an order, where actually it is a request mail. So, this is not asking for help, it is demanding help. Now, we are asking help, we never demand help. We never should forget that we are not supposed to demand a help, we are supposed to ask for help. Acknowledge that the person you are asking for help is very busy. Understand that he is a busy person as he is a professor. He's as professional as you are and he's definitely a very busy person. And that you understand may not be able to assist you all the time. He's not free to assist you all the time. You're just asking for it, you're requesting for it. Use statements to be asked politely. So this was the first major blunder that we did. Instead of asking help, we demanded help. Now, let's go to the next blunder that we did in the mail. Could you please get it back to me by next Tuesday? Here, we've not only done a blunder of demanding a help, we've also done a blunder of giving him a timeline for demanding that help. So I want help and I want it by Tuesday. If we put it up straightly that way, it would come somewhere like that. Remember, this professor has not agreed to help you yet. He's not agreed. He's in fact not even replied to your prior mail. Right? So he's not agreed to help you. If someone has not agreed, how would you put a deadline to his help? It's helpful from his side, plus you're putting a deadline to it. On the top of it, after doing so much as well, he has not replied you that he can really help you out, or he can give you that kind of help, whether it's possible for him. He's a busy person. But at that point of time, what you think can you do if you're asking for a deadline? Of course, it's sure that for you Tuesday is important, but what about him? He has different priorities. So you're not only demanding help, you're also giving him a definite specific timeline of him to get back to you at that particular point of time only. So when explaining the project, you need to help with tell them when the project is due and what aspect of project you need help with. So if you say, it is important for you to specify that you need the help by this particular point of time, but you cannot demand the help and by giving a deadline. Uh, First of all, he can decide whether he wants to help you or no, and secondly, he can also decide whether he can help you by that point of time or no, because his help then will be vain if he helps you anything after Tuesday. So this was the example of how to set a tone to your email. Very important that every email has to have a tone where you actually, with your tone of your language only, it specifies that what exactly that email is for. Is it asking help, is it demanding help, or is it a direct order, right? Let's go to the next example. Example 2. Let's read the mail. Dear Professor Mr. X, I don't understand the lecture yesterday about financial reform. I want to make an appointment with you tomorrow at 12 so you can explain me it more in detail. Best wishes, Mr. Y. Now here it was a very simple mail. There was a lecture which I had done yesterday and I have not understood it, so I need to understand it. So I want an appointment from you at 12 o'clock so that you can explain me a little better on this yesterday's topic which I did not really understand. Let's see what are the issues or what are the certain punchlines or certain sentences in the emails which did not go right. I want to make an appointment with you tomorrow at 12. Appointments are not demanded, appointments are asked. So if any point of time, if you want an appointment, it is always an asking or an inquiring thing of is that appointment available, instead of just demanding an appointment at 12. So as politely, if the professor had time to meet you, so you could have asked the professor politely if he had time to meet you, offer him at least 2 times. That would work well for you to minimize the number of emails that need to go back and forth. So certain times where where you want to take an appointment and you do not know what exact time is it going to come back from there, you can have options of giving a big leverage, saying that I am free from 12 o'clock to 5 o'clock. Here is the time when you get a response of one particular time which can come and fit in your frame. So give it a big leverage rather than 2-3 mails going to and fro. This is one major mistake that happened. So can you explain it more to me? So you can explain more to me. Now this is not only a demanding but also a blaming sentence, where the professor is blamed that his class where he explained was not sufficient enough for anyone to understand what the explanation was about. And so you're demanding a time of appointment at 12 so that you do a better understanding next time when you see him in the class. And now let's say an example of explaining an absence. So now suppose if I'm writing a mail to explain why I was absent and what help do I want for covering up whatever I missed. This is something that, let's see how the tone should go and how it didn't go, and now how we can put it right. So we can say the mail goes for an explaining an absence such a way where, dear Professor X, I missed your class last week because of an illness. I've already spoken to my classmates about the materials I missed, but I don't think I completely understand the subject. Can I make an appointment to meet with you tomorrow at 2 p.m. or 5 p.m. to discuss it? Best regards, Mr. X. So this is, I'm asking that person very straight away and saying that I was ill and that's why I couldn't attend the class. I've taken the materials from my friends, but at the same time also asking for an appointment to get my things sorted. Let's see how better it could have been done. I could have said, dear Professor X, after receiving my notes on your lecture about last week, I still have some questions about it. I'm especially confused about, would it be possible to schedule an appointment sometimes this week to go over it again? I'm available Wednesday and Friday afternoon this week. Thank you, sir. And best regards, Mr. X. Now here, what was the change is there was more focus on that you will take the material, you will do this, you missed the class because of your illness. Here we are more specific on what we want from the professor. So we not only gave him a little clue of you having the materials or the notes that last time we had discussed, but there are still some questions, okay, which has not allowed me to understand the complete subject totally. So I'm especially confused, where now I'm confused whether you would still give me an appointment or not. Now this is something very tactfully that you can ask a person, that I'm confused whether you have time or not, sir, because I have time so and so, but then is it possible for you to give me an appointment for something that you have already explained? Here, when you ask someone like this, the asking way, this is the ask for help again. Asking way is such where people do not normally say no. So it's very important for us to understand what is the way where our communication get go in so much polite a way that people should not turn up and say no. This was one example what we did and what could have been better. Let's go through this mail. Dear Professor X, I'm interested in the career in X subject, and I know you worked in this field at X company for many years. If you have time, would it be possible to meet to discuss your experience? I would like some advice on what I should be doing now to prepare for this career, and I would really appreciate an advice you could give me. Thank you. Regards, Mr. X. So here we are telling that person that he has worked about in that particular firm at that particular career point, that on that subject for so many years. That means he's an expert. Instead of putting it in a way where you are actually telling that person what he's been doing, it's better if you could now maybe put it up in a nice way for him to make it feel happy about certain things about that person. So this mail, if you focus and understand, it looks as if you are more interested in just your help rather than appreciating someone for so many years of hard work and workship. Now these are some emails to give you just a help or a gist of how certain emails sound like. Now this email is about question and favor. Now certain favors are the questions that you have. How can you put it up in over the mail? So if you're asking someone, how can you put a question over your email? Let's see how it goes. Here your subject line would be request for more idioms material. Now you're asking for more idioms material. Dear Professor X, I really like the idioms part of your lecture, and I have recently finished the idiom book Speak Business English Like an American. I have really learned a lot of useful idioms. Do you have any further material regarding idioms? I would appreciate if you could recommend something to me. Thank you, Mr. X. Thank you. Best regards, Mr. X. Now, this is something where you are asking a favor or a question or a demand, or maybe asking some more things which fantasy you, and this is how you can ask. This was one example of a mail. The next example is let's see the subject line, request for investment summary feedback. Now this is a request email that you're requesting something from a person. This goes everywhere in all industries, wherever you have people whom you are asking certain things over an email. Give me IMIS report, give me the feedback forms, or you are asking someone to have an investment summary over mail. So this is what would help you if you correlate your work with this email. Dear Professor X, I'm having a problem with the financial report I'm working on, which is due in 2 weeks. I've already completed the forecasting portion, but I am not sure what should be included in the investment summary. Attached is my investment summary draft and the related worksheet. I was wondering if you could take a look at it if you have the time and give me some suggestions. I would really appreciate it. Thank you. Regards, Mr. X. Now, this is completely a feedback that you need on your investment summary that you've made. So you made an investment summary, now you need a feedback on it, whether you're on the right track or not. This is a mail which will, if you could take it down or if you could click a snap of it or whatever, help you a lot, because these kind of emails are majorly used where you are answerable to a lot of things, where people ask a lot of reports from you and where they give you their feedback. So this is a pattern of asking for a feedback after you completing your work. This is very good way of putting it down, and this was one of the example I could share with you. So friends, these were some examples of emails where I could share some tones with you. I could, I could give you some examples of how to have your tone set right. We learned how to have the correct tone while you're addressing to someone. We learned how to request over a mail. We also learned how to set a time frame for a mail. We also learned not to blame but still to get the work sorted. Also, we learned a lot of appreciation over the emails. We also learned a favor or a question if we have to ask, how we can ask a feedback over a mail, and many more things. So I thought these were some relevant information or relevant examples that I could give you about certain email etiquettes which would help you in your way, in some way or the other in your work, to get you into better email etiquette. And I'm sure and I hope this will help you in your daily walks of life where you are completely an email person, writing a lot of emails to a lot of people. So I think it's very thankful of you all to watch this video. So thank you for watching this video. Please stay tuned to Ekeeda and subscribe to our channel. There's also a bell icon. If you want, you can press that bell icon to get the relevant videos. Thank you so much.